mid-season patch is here, and it not only includes the much anticipated tank changes, but also some nice extras. Let's have a look. The Season 10 mid-season patch for Overwatch 2 just landed, and I think it's going to be one to remember. We already knew about half of the changes since Aaron Keller, the game director for Overwatch, told us about them in his director's take a few weeks ago. But it seems Aaron did not tell us everything, since a few other heroes that he not had mentioned also got buffs. And on top of that, there were a few nice surprises in there. Some changes that I personally think show again that the development team over at Blizzard is listening to us, and that our feedback really matters. But first, let's go over all the changes. There are the general changes. Armor health has been reverted to provide a flat damage reduction of 5 per projectile, up to a maximum of 50% damage reduction. Beyond that, the out-of-combat health regeneration changed from 20 health per second to 10 health per second, plus 5% of maximum health. I talked about this in a previous video. Them reverting the way that armor works is going to help tanks out. And that health regen change makes so much sense, and I'm wondering why they didn't do it like this from the start. I've seen some people throw huge numbers around on how this new change will pan out on certain heroes, and yeah, it looks impressive. But in the end, it doesn't matter. This is out of combat health regeneration. If you guys are going to keep making these pointless simulations, I'm going to take away your spreadsheets. And don't think I won't do it. Next up are the tank roll changes. The tank's roll passive now includes a 25% damage reduction against critical headshot damage. And the knockback resistance that was already in there was increased from 30 to 50%. As a Lucio player, I am sad about that knockback resistance kind of being bumped up. As a tank player, I welcome it. I mean, it was already pretty good and it just got better. That critical headshot reduction, that is going to be one to keep an eye on. But to be honest, all of these changes will require them to keep an eye on it. I'm looking forward to testing all of this myself. And I do welcome the extra survivability. But we also all know that this is going to benefit some tanks more than others. But let's see how this works out, shall we? Now, Blizzard does realize that some tanks might need an extra bump up, so there are a few specific changes. Aaron already told us about the Junkrat Queen and Wrecking Ball, but let's run over them again. The Junkrat Queen, her commanding shout can now be activated while using other abilities, and the cooldown was reduced from 14 to 12 seconds. I think overall this game needs more Junkrat Queen, so I approve this message, or this change. Wrecking Ball, the impact damage on his grappling claw was increased from 50 to 60. The movement lockout duration on his pile driver for enemies is increased from 0.5 to 0.75 seconds. The damage on Minefield was increased from 130 to 165, and the explosion knockback was increased from 5 to 10. Look, I get it, the little critter needed a bit of an extra push after the buffs he already got a few weeks ago. He was doing better, but according to Blizzard, it was not impactful enough, and this should definitely change that. Now, on top of these two things, they also have changes for Sigma and Zarya. Sigma's Graphitic Flux no longer requires a line of sight to the center of the effect. Oh, that is a nice one. You know, it felt clunky at times. You just kind of float up like a barefooted god, screaming about the universe. And then you started fiddling with the effect to try and get some people in there, after which you just gently lowered to the ground because you did not catch a single person in there. So disappointing. The radius on Zarya's Graviton Surge was increased from 6 to 7 meters, and the duration was increased from 3.5 to 4 seconds. In Russia, all your ults will last longer and get bigger. Yeah, sorry about that. In any case, this is going to make her grav better for combos, but it is also going to allow her to do some stuff by herself. That extra second is going to help her out to actually contribute a little more. So it looks like all of the tanks are in for some exciting changes. I can't wait to try them for myself. However, there's also a few DPS that I'm kind of curious to try. Like Junkrat, for instance. The impact damage on his frag launcher was increased from 40 to 45, giving him a total damage increase from 120 to 125. Yeah, Junkrat kind of suffered with those changes they did back in Season 9 with the huge bump in HP. But for me personally, on the more gold and platinum ranks, I still made it work. And I guess now it's going to work even better. Echo. The ultimate gain multiplier while transformed was increased from 4 to 4.5. I like this one too. Echo is going to charge her copied ult faster. To be honest, it had become a little more difficult to reach that ult, which I always figured was due to me being a bad Echo player and copying the wrong heroes. But it turns out it wasn't all on me. I still suck though. Hanzo. The speed on his Dragon Strike was increased from 12 to 15 meters per second. Oh my god. I'm going to die so much. I mean, for Hanzo it's good, he won't have to rely on a Zarya or an Orisa to bring everybody together to make his ult be impactful. But no, really, I'm going to die every single time. Well, The final change is for a support, Brigitte. Rally will now reset her shield bash cooldown upon activation. Oh yeah, it's back. Ult, smash, stun, flail, death. But these were all of the balancing changes. Now there was more. Were of course the bug fixes. But Blizzard also did some changes to the new competitive system. Now most of them were UI changes that are meant to clarify some of the modifiers or the updated grouping restrictions. They also added a new modifier called Pressure Competitive, which is going to be shown to people that are on the outer ends of the skill distribution. So that is either the really low bronze people or the champion players. My favorite, however, of all the changes that they did outside of the balancing is actually a surprising one for the matchmaking. When a player currently is on a loss streak, the matchmaker will try and avoid putting the player on a team that is statistically calculated to have a lower chance of winning. In other words, if you keep losing, they're going to try and find a team that is going to help you to win. They're going to try. To me, that sounds like they added empathy to the matchmaking. And I love it. Because let's be honest, all that math is important. Sometimes it feels like that same math is bullying you. And they're just constantly putting you in games that you cannot win. But the problem is that that is a perception thing. Because sometimes it will happen that the math thinks that you are supposed to win. But, I don't know, someone is having a bad aim day and you lose. And then the whole math is ruined. Which kind of takes out that one simple fact. We are humans. We do weird stuff. Sometimes we have an off day. Sometimes we have a really good day. This change to the matchmaking is trying to take that a little bit into account. It is a step in the right direction. I mean, yeah, this might feel like a small change, but trust me, it is going to impact so many players on a daily basis. And above all, it shows that they're listening and that they want us to have fun. And that is really important. For now, however, that was it. A huge thank you to my patrons. I could not make these videos without you guys. You have my eternal gratitude. If you have a few minutes left, maybe check out this video. Click it. But above all, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye bye.